And I indeed saw our name in the list, and I was like, "I still can't believe it. Darling, can you please take that for
That's so funny.
me?" You're right, it's written approved. We are on the list, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Holy shit!
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to a Candid Conversation with. My name is Breezeby, and we are continuing on December for our speedrunner interviews, which I am having so much fun with. And today we have someone with us that I think is really gonna to quack everyone up here. Um, she has promised duck puns, and
I
I
didn't prepare them. I forgot.
no! That was my
What?
only one. I don't have any
I'm
more after
sorry.
this.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, as you can tell, she's got kind of a theme, okay, with that wonderful shirt that she has. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Who are you, and what do you do?
Eh bien, bonjour. Wrong language. Hello. So yeah, I'm Bloupeuh. I'm French.
So
So
French.
so French. So just to set everything, baguette, croissant, pain au chocolat, omelette du fromage. Merci, ronron. That's me.
I like the addition of "hon." Thank you for really just getting that out of the way. You know the comments would have been asking for that.
What's the origin for ronron? Because I know it's being used, but I have no idea why,
I
and
don't
I
know.
have
I
no
thought maybe
idea.
you knew. I don't know.
I have no idea. Like the only thing I could imagine is maybe the way we laugh, but that's really is the only
Oh.
thing that is coming to me. I have no idea. I've been wondering for so long,
It
and
must be just like the way that we perceive the language, right? Like that's like how it sounds to us. Even though just before this, like I'm serious, just before we started hitting record, Bloopah and I were just talking about how much I like think people like French is just a beautiful sounding language. Uh and then you said that and I was like, "Oh, maybe we do perceive it as like kind of
maybe
strange." That might be where it comes from.
I have no idea, but I know it exists. It makes me laugh a lot. So
So you are a speed runner. Tell me, what do you speed run?
wow. My main games, as per today, December 2nd, are DuckTales 1, DuckTales 2, Darkwing Duck on the NES. I recently got into Kirby Dream Land on Game Boy.
Ooh.
I'm attempting Chip and Dale 2 on NES, which is a nightmare. Don't play this game. Uh, it's
That bad.
the game is the game is good. The RNG makes it terrible
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to speed running.
Mm-hmm.
But the game casually is fantastic. It's just running it. It's a bit like running DuckTales 2 with the RNG heavy first boss, the Roboduck. Basically, Chip and Dale is the same, Chip and Dale 2, except you don't have the chance to choose which land you start with. So you have to bear with RNG, and it's not just one boss, it's like or three of them. So, but I like to suffer,
You
I
do.
guess.
you, I feel like all of the games that I've seen you speedrun so far have been so punishing, and they've all kind of been these classic games. I mean, I think you
Yeah.
speedrun Deltarune as well.
I used to like I don't know if I will ever come back to this game at some point.
Really?
I know that new chapters will be released, and maybe I will be like, "Okay, I will try to speedrun that again." So, long story short, I started my, like, adventure as a speedrunner, with chapter 1 of Deltarune, and I've been running this game and only this game for more than 2 years. So just this one chapter, which was something like 30 minutes long top. So I got a bit fed up with it, to be fairly honest. Chapter 2 got released, and I loved it casually. I mean, it's a fantastic chapter. It's a fantastic game. Play Deltarune. It's fantastic. It's so cool. It's great. The music is fun. No, the music is good. The game is fun. There is
Both.
like yeah. I mean, it's a great game. And I started speedrunning the second chapter, and I just didn't found the same enjoyment as I used to have with chapter one. And I got super frustrated because I used to be a fair runner of chapter one, like not the best of the best, but at let's say the peak of my career. I think I aimed like I was in the top 25 runners of the game, knowing that I'm not exactly sure, but back in the days there were something like 400 or 500 runners all times on the leaderboards.
Holy
So
cow.
yeah, so I mean, I was into it, you
Yeah.
know, and I was pretty decent. And I got super frustrated with not being able to match the same quality of speedrun for chapter 2. And I know it's silly because it's not the essentially it's not the same game. I mean, it's a all new chapter, so it's a lot of new things to learn, but it was more of a pain than enjoyment. So at some point I just stopped. I mean, I've been running it for only a few months compared to chapter 1 which I ran for more than 2 years. And even like I've been submitting it to a French event,
Mhm.
IRL event, which took place like 2 to 3 weeks ago. And you can't imagine how relieved I was when I saw that it wasn't taken.
Oh.
And at that moment, I realized you have to stop.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
No.
I just can't wait for the next chapters to be released. I mean, I'm living for this game. This game is amazing, but I'm not sure I will ever be running it again. I don't know. I mean, I had a really nice time doing so, and I will forever be just thankful for this game existing just
Yeah.
for the sole fact that I managed to get into speedrun because I have a long story with trying to speedrun stuff and giving up and all. So I will forever be thankful for this game existing, but I think it's just not for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm I'd rather suffer on NES games like
Which is shocking to me because those are like particular. I mean, what is the appeal of the NES games, which are really punishing? Like, what makes you want to speedrun those?
well, the short story is I used to play these games when I was a kid. Like the all except Tailspin because Tailspin sucks. Sorry, but it
Oh.
sucks. But I used to play all the Disney Capcom NES games back in the day. So DuckTales 1 and 2, Chip and Dale 1 and 2, and Darkwing Duck. And when I mean back in the days, I was like 2 or 3 years old. So I was really, really young, like super young Bloupeuh on the NES. While all my friends were enjoying their lives on the N64, basically. We were poor.
Relatable.
And yeah, and I just naturally came back to these games like was when was that? I think it was January 2021. Basically, I was super depressed back in the this time. I was spending the days in my bed and the evenings and nights on my computer.
Hmm.
Like and I didn't know what to do with my life back in the time, so I just replayed all the games that I used to enjoy when I was a kid, and I realized that, yeah, okay, maybe I can try speedrunning them. Doesn't sound so bad. And yeah, I don't know, it's just naturally came like that, I guess.
Did you start looking for the community first, or were you like, I'm just going to play these games until I can get through them as fast as possible?
So when it comes to Deltarune, because Deltarune is a really special game
Hmm.
in that sense, because I used to do that speedrun existed. I used to watch GDQs and stuff. So I knew that it was a thing. I knew that speedrun.com existed, that there were some guides and stuff, but I was so clueless of the community part. Like, I barely knew how to use Discord. It was I knew that server existed, but I just like, joined them for just joining them and then not doing anything because I was like, what's the use of that? And I'm afraid of people. Why should I talk to people when I just can avoid that?
Yeah.
Like I'm super, super stressed actually
Yeah.
when it comes to socializing.
It's hard. It's fucking hard. I
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
get it.
exactly, right? And yeah, and I was totally clueless of the actual community part of the thing. And I know it exists as of today, but I'm still like more living the thing on my side, doing my things, my silly things and all. Still a bit tricky to me. So I'm more looking into, okay, I do enjoy this game. I'd rather run it than not running it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, the community seems cool, so I might join it and see what I can do with this game. I need to enjoy the game to run it, else it makes no sense. It's just like suffering
Yeah.
and
For nothing.
no enjoyment. Exactly. So I'm looking a bit at how the communities are today because I'm more aware that this is a thing.
Hmm.
But it's not my main priority. I mean, I have tons of friends around the speedrunning community, like in general, in tons of different games and stuff. And eventually, we're all beautiful people. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good community to be a part of, even if you're not a runner. Like I tell people I'm speedrun adjacent, right? Like I've done a run. I don't have like a very formal like set of games if people were to ask me, but I feel like it's a very all-encompassing community. And it's kind of funny that you say like you didn't really look into the community part of it, because now I feel like I see you at least online, and like you submit to a bunch of different marathons. Like I feel like you have like you're in a lot of different places that I see. So like it seems like you're into the community, you know?
well, it's I don't know because well, to me, I'm just no one. I'm just that I'm just that French ladies submitting her stupid games to events to raise money for charity and working for the good cause and that's it. And I don't feel like I'm like someone in the community. And I mean, we'll see in the comments, but I'm sure like 99.99% of people who will comment will say, who the hell is this girl?
But I
It's
feel
fine.
like it's mostly in a good way of like, who is this? I want to know more, because you have such a good stage presence. Like every time,
Oh,
because
thank you.
so for context, Bloupeuh and I know each other because we were paired up together for, I think it was Frost Fatales last year. Yeah,
Yep.
so Bloupeuh needed
N
someone to help
This
commentate.
year,
This year, that's right. Oh
actually.
my gosh, we're still
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, it was
2022.
it was Feb yeah, 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 still.
Oh
Wow.
my God. So we were paired up because I was like a buddy for like commentating and Bloopah was running, and she taught me both Darkwing Duck and DuckTales 1, DuckTales 2 randomizer, which we'll talk about in a second. So like I already was just like thrilled at how welcoming you were, and you were like, I'm going to teach you all about my game. Do you want to hop in Discord? Let's do this. And you were already like such a bubbly, like good personality. But I had been watching your videos before of like other runs you've done just to like study. I was like, wow, she has such an incredible stage presence. Like it is really very, very apparent that you like are not just some lady. Like you are Bloopah, and you're very much like, you have such a good presence. So all that to say, like, you are not just some lady, and I feel like you have made already a very cool impact within the speedrunning community, even if it's just like a small section of it, you know?
That's just so nice. Like, I don't know if you can see, but you got me so emotional, I'm just about to cry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
do
that's alright.
that.
In a
Okay.
good way. It's so nice of you. I mean, I don't know, I'm just Like when you say, yeah, you were welcoming, you were okay, I'm gonna teach you everything and all. I don't know. For me, it's just normal. That's just how it should happen. So I don't know. But it's really, really, really nice. And merci beaucoup.
Well, of course, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you and I were talking about this the other day, just like in DMs, how I think the speedrunning community can be a little challenging to navigate sometimes, especially for a woman or someone who's non-binary or something. And I know we kind of wanted to touch on it, like your experience as a woman in the speedrunning community, which is a majority like cisgendered males. Like that's a lot of what it is. Like, what has your experience
Yeah.
been?
Well, I didn't add any like particular negative experience
Mhm.
to be honest. I mean, the community, like the vast majority of the community is still super welcoming, still super inclusive and all, but yeah, like as you just said, I mean, I don't hate white cisgender hetero males. Okay,
Right.
you are valid. It's fine, but it's just indeed it's the vast majority of runners, at least in France, because I think maybe in the US it's a bit more like how do we say
Diverse.
merci.
Mhm.
Exactly. But in France, it's really, really strong, and we are a much smaller country. So even if we have a really strong overall uh, presence of runners and community, I would say as a country, it's still really hard to find some diversity, and it's something that I could especially realize attending IRL events. uh, it's getting better. From what I can see, it's getting better, and I keep my fingers crossed that it's gonna just stay like that and keep improving. But yeah, the first event I was part of, we were 3 women for a weekend-long marathon. I think it was even 3 days and a half or something. So
Do you know how
and
many people were there total?
I'm not sure, but based on what was the event this year, I would say maybe between 60 and 80 runners total, something like that.
3 women among that. Wow.
Yeah. Like I mean, it's an estimation. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe
Yeah.
it's more 50 runners or something, but still, it's way less than 10%, just to give you an idea. The second event I attended, we were 2 ladies. Like usually we are 2 or 3. The last event I was part of, we were 5, and I was like, "Woohoo! We made it!"
Really pushing boundaries here. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, and it's we have a lot of talented runners, and we barely see them, and it makes me super sad. And I know that today I'm also trying to attend as many events as I can in France, especially in France, and just to provide visibility, trying to provide visibility that okay, we are also here and we can do some nice stuffs as well, or silly stuffs as well, because I love to run silly stuffs, as you know.
Yes.
And yeah, and just we are here and we are valid, and to anyone who is watching us and who is maybe thinking, okay, I would like to do the same, but I don't feel like I could belong or I could be valid in here. Yes, you are, and we want to see you. And this is so important. And I tend to feel that it's becoming better and better. And again, this is really specifically for France. I know it really doesn't apply the same way for the US because it's not the same community, it's not the same amount of runners and stuff. But for us, I just want to be there to say, okay, you are valid. We want to see you there, and like you can contact me if you have questions or whatever. Like I can help you with whatever fears you may have or whatever questions you may have and stuff. So yeah, they tend to see me a lot in events lately. like since I joined the
That's nice
community.
though to
Sorry.
have that.
Or
Sorry. No, I'm sure they love having you there. I It doesn't sound to me like they're like purposefully excluding. It sounds more like they just don't think about it, maybe?
they don't realize it. They
Yeah.
don't realize it. They don't take it into account, and it actually makes sense because, again, the vast majority of the committees in France are just like males, you know? So they don't tend to realize that they need to provide visibility as well, because they will be the ones saying, "Oh, it's sad because we don't have that much diversity in our events." And I specifically remember the very first event I was part of, which was an IRL event in France. So that was back in November 2019. I specifically remember that the host, right before my run, the host specifically mentioned, okay, the next runner is a lady. And I'm super happy to say that because we don't tend to see them that much. And it's so important to say. So the next one is a lady. I'm freaking happy she's there. I was like, Merci. Uh, it's not stressful at all. I'm totally
No
fine with
pressure.
that. No pressure whatsoever. I mean, I'm already, pardon my French, shitting my pants, like making my very first run ever. And now I also have the whole pressure of being a lady and being the first lady being shown during this event.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But it actually became my motto.
Which I love. It's interesting because I see it so much. I mean, you and I are both in the gaming community, the larger gaming
Mhm.
community outside of
Yeah.
speedrunning, and I see it a lot in like competitive esports, especially. There's like
Mm.
almost zero representation for women
I
and for
know.
non-binary people and everything in between. And
Mhm.
very recently, there was actually an Overwatch League team that was like trying to build a roster of only women and non-binary people, and then there was this other side to it where if you're doing it partly for publicity and also partly
Mhm.
because you're trying to make a statement, that's fine,
Mhm.
but you're also putting a huge spotlight and a lot of like opportunity for these people to be like scrutinized and like targeted,
I
because
know.
that's like how the gaming community is, right? So like there's
I know, right?
two sides to it where it's like we
Yeah.
absolutely want to give this like recognition, but
Mhm.
unfortunately sometimes you have the other side where like you call attention to it and then people like use it as an excuse to be like, I'm gonna make sure, like I'm gonna scrutinize every little thing you do,
Mhm.
because like
Yeah.
I don't know what the like thought process is for those people.
I I don't know, but basically it puts a lot of pressure each and every time. Like I know, like for me, like people don't try to put pressure on me on purpose. It's just me being me, you know. But because I know that there are not so much diversity in the community and in the events and stuff, I tend to feel like I need to, like, not be on top of my game, but even more than that. I need not to be on 100%, but like 1,000%, just because I'm afraid of any possible backlash on whatever I can do. Like, oh yeah, she messed up this, or she did this, or she did that. And I mean, I speak from facts because that happened in the past. And I just don't want to give anyone any possibility of making criticism, like non helping criticism, just because, oh, yeah, she didn't do that frame perfect trick or whatever. Like,
Which is crazy
I,
because most of the people watching
yeah,
are not runners of these games. I guarantee you.
exactly, right?
They're just like
Yeah, I
criticizing for the
know.
sake of criticizing.
I know. So I'm just trying to give as much as I can during what whichever performance I'm providing, just because I'm afraid of what people could say about me. And I'm just afraid of, like, I don't know, people in general, because people on the internet can be so mean. Like, I have all my PBs and videos and stuff on my YouTube channel You can't put any likes or whatever. You can't comment. You can't do anything except watch, because it's just a way of protecting myself, because I'm just so afraid of people in general.
Yeah.
I can barely stream because of that, because I'm just afraid that some random person will come to my chat and just start saying things,
Yeah.
or I don't know, whatever. But so yeah, there are definitely two sides, and like I tend to think that, especially in the example that you gave, like esport communities and stuff, that people trying to bring a league or a team of diverse profiles are doing it with good intentions, or at least I really hope so, because
Yeah.
I don't see why you would do that just for the sole fact of, oh, see, we did that, it's super cool. But that can happen as well,
Sure
sadly.
does.
The whole attention that is bringing, you will always have backlash, and if people don't do that with good attention, I don't see why they would do it. However, there will always be hatred, there will always be people judging you, and especially when you're not, let's say, the expected norm, and it can break people, it can be terrible, and it's really frightening. But at the same time, I mean, it's always the same thing. If we want to have more diversity, we need to fight for that, and we need to express ourselves and say that's something that we want. And you need to have people like saying it out loud, or not loud but out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't tend to shout about this kind of thing like on public. I think that's the very first time I'm doing something like that. Bonjour, bienvenue. But I don't hide it either. I mean, if people are asking me, I will tell them. I will gladly tell them that's what I'm fighting for more diversity, for more visibility provided on anyone who's not the norm. And yeah, I don't know if I managed to do it. I don't know if people manage to perceive that's something I want to do, but I'm trying.
I feel like you just being there, like, even if you're not saying it out loud, even if you're not, outwardly like making that what your platform is
Mhm.
about, like you said, showing up to events in person, like proving that
Yeah.
there are women in this community and they are more than welcome. Like, there should be
Mhm.
more, which is why I think
Yeah.
like the Fatales events are so
Yeah.
freaking cool, because that is a direct spotlight on that group of people who is so
Yeah.
underrepresented. And I feel, hopefully, I feel like the event gets bigger every year, so I think like we're doing it, but like it's tough when
Oh
you're in
yeah,
a
sure.
country that's like IRL events are a totally different beast.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we have as of today. We used to have a little group of ladies in speedrun for la francophonie, so basically all the French speaking countries.
Mhm.
But it never really like you know
Took
grew,
off, yeah.
sadly. Yeah, it never really took off, exactly. Sadly. And I know that the persons who created the group didn't really add time, or didn't really add what it took in terms of mental health or whatever, to manage to handle and make things to make it grow. And I'm not judging. I mean, I would love to do something like that, but I know that mentally speaking, I'm not there yet. So
Yeah.
I'm just not bothering with that for the moment. Maybe someday we'll see.
Mhm.
It's something I have in the back of my mind, and I still have, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Yeah, it
And
does. It does.
but yeah, we used to have this, to try to at least provide a safe space
Mm.
to like women. And I guess, like, I'm not exactly sure, because, as I said, never really took off, but I think like non-binary and, as you said, anyone in between would be more than welcome here. But yeah, it never really grew. And one other thing, so I think it's quite outdated now, because that used to be in early 2020. But we tried for a specific event, women related stuff. um the French community tried to make a list of the different women in speedrun, and I think they managed to get up to 15 names. We are much more than that now.
Yeah.
That's something I know for a fact, just because I have some friends, like dear friends today, which were not part of this list back in the days. So we are much more than that, but still, what you can see is that, yeah, the IRL event that I attended, which had the most women, we were five.
Do you think the barrier for women and non-binary people getting into speedrunning, like, do you think they just don't know about it? Do you think it just looks intimidating? Is it they're not interested in running? Like, because I think about it sometimes, but like I don't have an answer,
Mm,
and I'm wondering if you like have
I,
thought.
I I have some ideas.
Mhm.
I might be completely wrong, like completely
I don't
wrong,
think any of us
but
know.
exactly. But my impression is that, and it comes back to what I said a bit earlier, is that when you're a woman in a competitive environment, whichever it is, if you want to, you have to prove each and every time that you're valid. Like, you won't be taken for granted, you know. And I mean, the moment you start speed running, whether you're in like the top 5 players or just at the bottom of the leaderboard, like, we don't freaking care. Like, you are doing it, and so long as you are doing it and you enjoy it and you give what you have for that, you are valid and you have all the rights to be there, to be part of the community and all. And I just think that we as women, and I think it's the same for basically everyone else, we need to prove that we, because we're not taken as granted, as I said. And it's hard. Like, you giving your best is not enough. Like, it
Yeah.
will never be enough. I have a friend who is like one of the best player in the world of Super Mario Kart.
Wow.
I think she's like, uh, for what I remember, I think she is in the top 10 players worldwide.
Which is
So
amazing. That's a big game. Like I'm sure
yes,
lots of people are
yeah,
running that.
oh yeah, and it's so like hard as a game. It's so precise and all. And I mean, she's been playing the game for as long as she can remember. So she is good, you know, like she's a freaking legend.
Yeah.
And she still have some random dudes coming to her chat and, oh, I'm sure I can beat you. I used to be the best of my neighbor. Like, yeah, sure, come at me, bro. Like,
Right.
prove me
Like
that you can do better than me,
yeah.
right? And they're like, oh,
But it's like,
she
do other
shouldn't
people
have.
deal with that? Right. Like that seems like a very targeted thing of like, I'm gonna come into your chat because
Yeah,
you're a woman and I like you need to prove yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that would never happen if it was a dude running,
Mm-mm.
you know? Or like, we always have to prove that we're valid. And it's so freaking exhausting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's also one big barrier. It's just that you don't feel confident and comfortable enough just because we are putting a lot of pressure on us. And yeah, our best, it will always be considered not good enough till we get a world record, or I don't know. And even with a world record or something, I'm sure there will still be some people coming and say, "Oh, I'm sure I can do better than you."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that may be one big thing. And the second thing is maybe, and again, it comes back to visibility, providing visibility is like, if you don't see any lady in an event, you would never tend to think that you could be part of that, you know? Or it will be really hard to get into thinking, oh yeah, maybe I can do it. Like, I know that I had the chance to break this idea and just, I went for it and I was like, you know what, you just submit and you'll see how it goes. If you're in there, it's cool. If you're not, then tant pis.
Yeah.
And I got in. So I mean, it can happen, but you also need to get in your mind that this is something you can do. And I can imagine that you have a lot of people who are just, yeah, maybe afraid or concerned because they don't see people like them
Yeah.
in events like that. And like we mentioned the existence of Frame Fatale, and I will forever be grateful for this event existing and providing visibility, because this is so freaking important.
Yeah.
and and we also have the Power Up with Pride committee, who's
Mhm.
here for LGBTQIA plus diversity visibility, and it's so freaking important
It
as
is.
well. And well, I would tend to think that that's why. But again, it's based on my experience. I
Right.
might be super wrong with that. And it's based on my experience as a French runner in France. And again, it's getting better.
Yeah.
And I just hope that it will stay like that and it will keeps getting better. I'm not judging any committee of any sort or
Yeah.
whatever. Please still invite me in the events. It's cool.
Well, it's
But
funny because GDQ, I mean, like the biggest speedrunning event that we currently have came under
yeah.
fire a couple of events ago, maybe 2 events ago, or last event even, about like there are like 4 runners on this list that are women or non-men runners, and we have like this
Mhm.
whole setup. Like we gotta try to
Yeah.
like at least look into being more inclusive, and
Mhm.
I think they've started to like really take that to heart. I don't think it was ever purposeful.
Yeah.
Like we've said, it's not like I'm
Yeah.
meaning to be exclusionary. It's like they just don't think about
Yeah.
it. And now I look at the list. I mean, this event like coming up, you're going to be there. How are you feeling? That's a huge thing.
I I still don't know. I
Oh,
still don't know.
did you
I mean,
expect it all to get in, or were you just like, I'm going to throw this out there and just like,
no, quite honestly, we were just like, because I submitted with my partner,
mhm.
so it's a co-op game that we're playing. And the event being online, it makes everything so much easier for
Yeah.
us not being in the US or just even in North America.
Mhm.
So like I'm super willing to attend AGDQ at some point, like on site.
Yeah.
And that's still a plan at some point, either as a visitor or maybe please as a runner.
Mhm.
But I know that it's much trickier for my partner to, like, go abroad and stuff, because that's a lot of money that needs requires a lot of time as well, and all for us. So it's just like, well, you know what? We just started playing this game. It's fun. Um, let's just, yeah, throw the submission, because you never know what will happen. But I mean, given that it's a super short game, it's a puzzle game, so it's not really the, I would say, the expected target for a game to get in the approved list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't even checked when the list got released.
Did
It's a
someone tell
friend of
you?
mine. Yeah. Like I don't know if you know Flannel Cat.
That sounds awfully familiar, yes.
Yeah, yeah. She sent me a message saying, "Blue, you got in."
Oh my god. Were
And I
you
was
just
like, "Are
like
you?"
in shock?
It was 3 in the morning for us.
Were you together when you found out? Were you like,
Yeah.
okay.
I was with my partner, and I can't exactly remember what we were doing, but given how late it was, I guess we were just having dinner at 3 a.m.
Of
Yeah,
course,
I
normally.
seriously, why not?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I was just casually checking my message, and then I saw the message on Discord of Flannel saying, "Yeah, you just got in." I was just like,
I would have panicked.
I no,
In a good
I didn't.
way.
Like, I didn't actually panic. I was like, "Are you freaking serious?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, you got in." So, I first went on the list to check it myself,
Yeah.
because I couldn't believe it,
Right.
obviously, and I was like, "Yeah, she's doing a joke," you know? Like, 'cause we discussed that before, that we might submit something with my partner given that it was going online and stuff. And back when I was at her wedding, because I was at her wedding,
Hmm.
and she was like, "Yeah, you should definitely do that. We don't care. We'll see. I would love to see you in there." And also, that's also why basically I submitted with my partner. I was like, "Yeah, you know what? It's our one shot. Please, let's do that."
Yeah.
So I checked, and I indeed saw our name in the list, and I was like, "I still can't believe it, darling. Can you please take that for
That's so funny.
me? You're right. It's written approved. We are on the list, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Holy shit!"
That's so exciting. I
So
am thrilled for you, honestly.
no, that's gonna be an amazing experience. I mean, it's fun thinking back from how it started till here, like from the moment I actually started speedrunning to now. I'm just like, you managed to do all that in such a short amount of years.
Yeah.
And there's more. Hopefully there's more. I mean, I still have
Yes.
some plans for submits at GDQs, which I don't know if they will work or not, but I I have some, how do you say, cards off my sleeve,
Yes,
I think.
yes.
And I will give everything that I have to make it. We'll
Heck
see how it
yeah.
goes.
I love that. I know I'm gonna see you on the GDQ stage more. Like absolutely. Like I said, your stage
Hopefully.
presence and your ability, like I feel like you will be back more than once.
Well, we'll see. But just so you know, if I happen to be on the freaking stage physically, I will shit my pants. Again, pardon my French.
You know what? I would too. So I don't blame you whatsoever. I remember my first time hosting
Yeah.
online, like in my own room. I was like, I
Mhm.
think I'm gonna throw up. I was like, this is the most nervous I've, and I was hosting. I wasn't even running anything. So like,
I know
I
the feel.
I can't imagine running anything.
I
So
know the feel. So yeah, who knows?
I
We'll
think
see.
it's in the
But
cards. Do you have anything that you want to promote? Do you, I mean, I know your run is going to be on AGDQ, so like I'll obviously put the schedule in the description box, but like anything you want to promote here?
well, if you want to follow me on the bird application
Yeah.
that we're not supposed to give the name now, uh, I do a ton of shit posts in French, in English, but sometimes I do just provide the schedule of my coming events because, as I said, I barely stream on my channel now. I might at some point find the will to just click on the start streaming button again, but so far I managed to do this only on RGL channel. I forgot to mention, I'm a member of Retro Gaming Live. Uh,
Yay!
RGL TV for short.
Amazing.
So you can see me there sometimes, like much more than on my own channel. Uh, so you can definitely follow the channel as well, especially if you like retro games and you never heard about the channel, because this will be a jam for sure. So twitch.com/, retro gaming live TV. Uh, so yeah, the bluebird, Bloupeuh with a 0 and a 3, because the ad was already taken.
Really?
Uh, yeah, like
Oh,
you have a ad Bloupeuh who is not me. It's a French person, but it's not me. So you need to put the 0 and the 3 in my name to actually find me.
interesting. Does Bloopah mean anything in French?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just like a fun word that like two French people
It's
were like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just so random. YouTube, if you want to see the silly things that I do, I might have a playlist of all the events I attended. If you want to see what this lady is doing in an event, uh, and yeah, I don't really know. Uh, if you haven't, just follow Brisby's channel because she's amazing. Obviously,
Oh
uh,
my gosh, I've never had anyone here just promote me. I love
really,
that.
like everyone should promote you. I mean,
Thank you.
like I've been following a Candid conversation since the very first episode,
I
and
love it.
I just love it. I just love it. So
Yay.
just being part of that, it means so much to me. You have no idea. So
I love that you wanted to do this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll do this again because you have a lot of good things to say. And like I said, I'll
it
put
would be my pleasure.
all of Bloopah's links and stuff in the description below. But thanks for joining us. This has been a candid conversation with, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Au au revoir, bonne soirée, journée. Et mettre du fromage ronron.